comes and tells you anything, you're going to buy it. So that is the heart of fake news, by the way. That you listen to the news that you want to listen to and you accept that as true. Yes? Okay. So I'm just giving you a broader thing. So it's not just about relationship, romantic relationship. This thing goes beyond that as to how we allow for others to manipulate is the word I could use, our reality. All right. So here are some ways of looking at it. All right. And again, some warnings down here. You might find yourself doing that. The sense of you're really not sure. Because what I'm saying to you, remember that the movie talked about actually the person went clinically insane. It's not just wandering around. The person actually got mad. Put it that way. All right. So a less whatever you call it, deeper state might be then that you just start to not so sure about things anymore, because that's what it is. It is playing on your what you hold to be true. Yes. Always apologizing. Man, I'm so sorry. And guess what? In situations you start your sentences, everything you're going to say, you start with that. You know, I'm sorry, but so you've actually live a life apologizing, sorry to the world, and it might go outside of with the individual as well. Yeah. Can't understand why you're not even happier. That's it. You're basically almost living in a chicken Mary Hawk is there situation where you just kind of wonder, am I really allowed to be happy, or am I missing something here? Yeah. And this is one of them I mentioned now about making the excuses for your partner. Yeah. No, man, he wasn't thinking, maybe he was tired, or maybe she wasn't, or so, you know, so we actually forgive the behavior. Yes? So we say about the president, okay, so he might have some bad spots, but his principles are there and he has good policy. That's it. Yeah. Okay. I hope that I'm not offending anybody who has that, but we can move forward. You know something is wrong, but you can't put your finger on it. Part of the confusion, part of the doubt that is being sold. Yeah. This is a powerful one. This is when you need to go to Brother Andre for therapy. You start to tell yourself lies as well. Because the person actually, you see it. You actually believe that this is a put down. You actually believe that the person did something to hurt you. And then you say to yourself, no. And by the way, while we're talking about this is what, I didn't want to say it because it's such a disgusting statement, is that it's because they love you, why I'm hit you. You know, that kind of stupid statement where women actually stay in a relationship where they are being physically abused because they believe that him love me. You know, so this is where that is now. That is the kind of, anyway, let me move on. And we mentioned these, can't make decisions. And this is where the self-esteem goes. Yeah, I'm not good enough. All right. You want to weigh in here, Brother Andre?
Well, I'm not. No, I mean, just to say that some of these things could also be the result of being gaslighted.
Right.
You know, so because you're being gaslighted, then this is some of them is a position that one you have taken, or is a position that has been given to you. You know, in other words, you have been placed in that position, or it could also be this is how you feel in the relationship. So I'm just saying some of these responses could be as a result of those three.
Right. Mm. So yeah, when you're in, these are manifestations of having been gaslighted.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. So common phrases. you might hear from your gaslighter. So these are some tips, but look at this, what I'm saying to you. They may be true. And so just hear him then does not necessarily mean that you are being gaslighted. Okay? And again, motive, pervasiveness, is it a consistent thing? Is it a person that's trying to do this to you? Link again to the power relationship. Those are some of the things that you need to add to these, put it in context. So again, look at it, you're so sensitive. Insecure, you're really thinking that because you're so insecure. Those are things that give people power over you if you buy them. Yeah. So that's another angle to look at. If I hear this consistently and if I believe it, what does it do to the relationship? Does it strengthen me or does it undermine me? Does it give somebody strength over me or not? So that's another way to look at it. When we look at each one of them, if I were to buy this and take it on and internalize it, what would it do to the relationship? Would it bring us closer together? Would it help me to grow, or would it diminish me in the relationship? Stop acting crazy. You sound crazy. You know that, right? Don't you know that? Don't you know that you sound crazy? Yeah. And by the way, don't you know that is part of the reinforcement? So I'm not only going to tell you that, but but you know, right? You know. So that's part of where it goes. And you're just being paranoid. All of this is trying to push you to the edge where you let go of what you hold to be true. Right? You just love trying to throw me off track. Yeah? So now, well, what is being done to you is being, when you talk about the reverse psychology, is being turned back at you now. So you are the one trying to throw him or her off track. This is a clever one. I was just joking. So you're digging deep and then let it land. And then afterwards, you can say, oh, man, that's right, I was just joking. But there was no joke involved. The message is there. You have to understand how the subconscious works. When you start to plant things down there, it's not so easy to uproot. So the best thing to do is to block. Make sure that you don't file the thing incorrectly. Here's another one. You're just making that up. Where you get that from? Nothing could be further from the truth. Man, say always I make up things. That's it. Or here's another one. It's no big deal. So you see something that is a problem for you, and you person just undermines what you're thinking. Just plays it down. That is as powerful as the other one of making a statement. They can, if they deny everything that you see as a problem and don't take it on, then it's the same thing. Is that you start to question then, how come I think that this is such a big deal and this other person don't see anything wrong with it? And you understand it. Yeah? It's no big deal. You're imagining things. There we go. Paranoid, imagining things, and you're overreacting. Same thing, that's part of the big deal idea too. So those are some of the things that we have to look at. But again, I'm telling you, when you hear one of these things, don't jump off and say, oh my gosh, I'm being gaslighted. No, in context, it might be true. So do not avoid looking, have some introspection, yes, because you need to be able to accept feedback. Okay? So that's there. All right, so let us run through some more before we get on to how to respond to it. So you're always so dramatic, and don't get so worked up. It's nothing. What's the big deal? Here's one that you really have to be careful about. Is that something actually happened, and you're being convinced. Nothing, no goes so. It never ever happened. This is really a figment of your imagination. Yeah. Maybe you need to go check yourself out because believe you me, where you get that from? All right. You know you don't remember things clearly. All right. So your memory gone. Big problem. Yeah. You're saying, I noticed something that every Tuesday, you're missing at a certain point in time. And I just kind of wonder, we can't find your cell phone lock off, for 2 hours on a Tuesday. We don't, what you're talking about? No, man. There's no, I mean, no, sir. Well, you know, not, it's there. And you're saying, no, there's nothing. Or the reverse is true. And the hysterical, we know that is there as well. There you go again. You're ungrateful. This one usually comes around when somebody's on the receiving end and dare to ask a question about the hand that is reaching out to them. Let us say that you have one person who is at home and the other one working or whatever it is, and whoever tell the person who is not working to go ask a question about something, and then boom. So next time you just check what you get and keep quiet because you're ungrateful. Yeah. And finally, well, you know that nobody believes you. No, sir. Yeah. None of your friends, nobody believes you. So why should I? Whoa. Pray that you'll never end up in a relationship where these things are commonplace in your dialogue. Okay, so there we go now. I feel task now. What you do? By the way, sorry, let me stop a little bit. Any questions, comments? You can mic if you want or share in the chat. The question that I have for you is whether you have some clarity as to the distinction between some of those statements and what we are defining as gaslighting, where there's a motive, where there is consistency, where there is a interest in having a different power dynamic. Just want to, if you can, in the chat, say, yes, I get that, or no, I need further particulars. If you could just share back for me so that I have some idea that at least we're talking about the same thing, and that we're not just setting everybody loose now to go and talk to the boss and let the boss know that they've been gaslighted or the relationship. So, can you type in the chat? Yes, it's clear. No, it's not clear. You can just put yes or no, please. Okay, so we have a bright person. Grenell says yes, he gets it. All right, so, okay, somebody wants to understand the power dynamics a little bit more. Okay, I get that clear. Go on, let me see some more. Please. Just quickly, just write yes, no, or clarify this for me. I don't want to go further before we understand what is happening. All right, so while that is going on, somebody asked about greater clarity on with respect to the power dynamics. There are two sides to that. One of them, as I mentioned now, it would be a situation where, let me talk about different ones. One of them would be work, where the work person, where the boss actually denigrates the employees. They don't give them any power. They're not empowered. They're not enabled. They basically have to come and ask for everything. Yes? If they want to go to the restroom, they have to come and say, it's like prep school. If you put up your hand, ask permission, do whatever it is. So that's one power dynamic, where in that situation, any attempt to self-actualize by asking questions or making suggestions is put down. And so by doing that, the boss, the leader, the team leader, whatever you want to call them, actually puts themselves in a stronger position, because people know that in this environment, I call all the shots. You guys don't have enough, I don't want to say sense, but yeah, I know and you don't know, so just follow. Yes? By the way, oh my gosh, I'm going to get myself in real trouble here now. That situation also applies in parenting relationships. I'm sorry to say this, but it's true. There is a parenting situation where the parents do not allow the children to ask questions, and do as you are told. Do as you are told. The child has no ability to ask questions or to explore other avenues. That's also a gaslighting situation. If that continues consistently, and what will happen then is that the children that come out of those situations have a difficulty navigating life when they are on their own. So that's another power dynamic. All right, let's talk about the relationship one is one in where I want to control what it is that we do. Yes? So where we go, how we spend the money, all of those kinds of things. Any kind of decision is mine, because you know that, well, you can't handle money, or that well, every time you choose where we go, it don't turn out so right. So that's another one. And there are more sinister things, like the movie where the man actually take away the money because he has so caused the other individual to lose their sense of being able to make decisions. And so that's where that power dynamic comes in the romantic relationship, is that you need to trust me. You need to come to me, because I am the source and you are deficient in your decision making. The other point now is the affection related power dynamic, where I so admire you. I hold in such high esteem that anything that drops out of your mouth is truth, and any behavior that you do is I have to deny. I have to do it. Yeah. So after Access Hollywood, somebody would still say, no, it's all right. This is an evangelical Christian, right? So that's basically what that dynamic is. So, for instance, those power dynamics are very perceived throughout all relationships and seem unavoidable. It is everywhere. Seems that we need to be vigilant in all our relationships. Yeah, of course, we need to be vigilant in all our relationships. That's what I'm saying. But go back though to the motive. What I said at the very, very opening statement is that we do have incidents, if you want to call it gaslighting events. It's unavoidable. We do have gaslighting events. But are they persuasive? Do they occur because we want to control the other person? We want to manipulate them? That's the distinction. But of course, definitely, these things happen consistently through life. And that's why the big warning at this time was to say to you, be careful that you don't walk out now ringing, shouting that you are being gaslighted, because it happens in relationships of all types. Yes? And then the final one would be the lying, where you start to actually lie to yourself because of your affinity to the person. Yeah. So yeah, the key then is the motive and the pervasiveness, the extent to which this keeps on happening. All right. Good. All right. Let's move on. Thanks for the questioning. We just want to make sure that everybody is on board. All right. So the first thing to do is to identify the problem. You can't solve something that you don't know. Right? So, and that's what we have spent the time here again this time going through to say, what is it? What it is. Brother Andre will tell you that when you see the thing, call it out by name. Call it, identify. So this is what is happening to me. Don't smooth it over. Don't hide it, whatever it is. Talk to yourself. Yeah. Be clear. I think that this is a scenario that needs further investigating. I think that I might be in a situation where I'm being gaslighted. Here is a strategy that I'm suggesting. One way to keep reality is by writing down things, making notes. Yes? So that when you have written it down, that this thing happened, just start to make more notes, keep a journal, so that you can go back. So when the person said, no, son, nothing like that happened, you can actually go back to your notes. Or, cell phones are pervasive now, you might take a picture of something. What I'm saying is go into documentation mode so that you actually have some reference points, so that you have an anchor. That's very important, that you can actually go back to data, to information that was written down at points in time, to make sure then that when your reality is being questioned, you actually have notes that you can say, no, see it here, on the 14th of August, this happened. You see, this is another Tuesday, this is another Tuesday. So that's one suggestion, but identify the problem. All right. Andre, coming in or go on?
You can continue. Excellent.
All right. Sort out truth from distortion. Right? So here we go. Write down your conversation in a journal so you can take an objective look at it. And just see what happens, where the things are starting to take a turn. Right? Just make some notes. See how things, I don't want to use the word manipulated yet. Yeah, but how you saw something happening and suddenly it seems to take a U-turn. At what point? See if you can develop some kind of a pattern for when that is happening. Yeah. And this is where it goes. Figure out if you're in a power struggle. Just see if you seem to have the same discussion over and over. And you say to yourself, but I thought we resolved that. I thought we agreed on this. I thought that, but yet still it comes back again with new twists, with new, and just again, the big question for me always would be, in this situation, is what is taking place here empowering for me or my partner or for the other person or not? Is one person being diminished against the other? That's a question. If this is empowering for everybody, which it would be, for example, if I have a deficiency, if I have a behavioral issue that needs to be addressed and we have a meaningful discussion around it, that's empowering. That's not gaslighting. Right? If one day I make a little slip and somebody uses that to try and push me down, that could be qualified as gaslighting. So just look at the scenario and ask the fundamental question, is this empowering or not? Is it empowering for both of us? If it goes in this direction, will one party have more power over the other? Those are questions that I think are very, very helpful. Right? But then, one of the things that you have to look at, and there are relationships that people feel trapped in for financial reasons, because of the children, for whatever reason. Sometimes in that scenario, you invite gaslighting. You actually so diminish yourself because you can't leave. That's what you tell yourself. And I think some of the songs that are there, I can't live without you. Yeah, you can. I like that. Trust me. But so much of those love songs talk about it. That you can. And so here is a powerful antidote to gaslighting, is to, again, use your mind. Anybody that hears me talk, understand mindset and what it is. Use your imagination, use your mind, visualize. So here it is. Sit down consistently, day and night. Daydream yourself in another scenario. Somewhere where you're far away out of this, and create a wonderful new dream environment. Just visualize it consistently. What that will do is to help you to get to a place where where you get the courage to know that you can in fact leave. You can in fact leave. Have to create that environment, right? Where you have your own reality, you have good friends around you, people of integrity, people that are empowering you. Visualize that consistently until hopefully one day you get to the point where you are able to release the shackles and move on. Because a lot of people stay in the scenario because they don't believe, they can't visualize themselves in another environment. So how am I going to eat? What am I going to do? What about the children? What about all of that? Think about the other side of being imprisoned in an unhappy situation. Because remember some of the things we talked about. You're unsure, you don't know, you're confused, why you're not happier, all of those things. Are you willing to put up with that forever? Or can you find a way forward where you find another reality where you can live and be fulfilled? That's a question. So play the mental game until you are ready. But you can do other things than that. You can go and get counseling. You can go and find people that can help you to get past this blind spot, is what I would call it, where you feel as if this is the only future. I've seen that scenario, yes? And young people who probably are going to have to spend another 40 years in that situation. Not good. Questions? Comments? Feel the feelings, don't hide it, right? All of these things that are happening to you, track them. And again, even if you want to journalize them, track them. Since when, let us say you're okay, and the car driving, and then you suddenly start to not so sure. You just had a conversation with a schoolmate, a friend, or whatever it is, and it's just wonderful. You're laughing, you're happy. Car drive through the gate, and suddenly you want to cut the conversation, and those just make a note of them and own it, recognize it. Don't just gloss it over and just think it's nothing. No, I'm not pushing you to become paranoid, but what I'm saying is if you deny these things, then you're going to be existing in a scenario without even realizing that there is a problem. So, track your feelings. I like to believe in that. I think my friend, Brother Andre, shared that idea that, note your feelings. Note when things change, your mood change, your feelings change. Make a note. And maybe sometimes you might actually see there's a pattern. What was the trigger? What happened before I started to feel this way? I was up and then, So I actually spend quite a lot of time when I'm in that thing to go back and find out what was the trigger. Yeah. So when we talk about stress management, we talk about the stressors and the satisfiers. I want to know what stressor caused me to change my mood. And I go back, and then the benefit of that is that you can fix it. So kind of going off the gaslighter thing, but if you just think about that, when the change comes, if you can identify the trigger, what was the stressor, then you can either fix it or learn to live with it or ignore it. Those are some of the things that I would suggest. So when the feeling comes, go back, dig deep, find out what is it. And by the way, remember we lie to ourselves. So we might actually tell ourselves, oh, it's because of so and so. When really and truly we know that's not the real cause. We know that there is a deeper cause, but we don't want to confront that. Go down there, go to the deeper one and fix it. Or try to fix it. And I think must get my learned brothers' input on this.
One of the things I'd like to add, I'm not certain if it's an add-in, but is to say that what kind of relationship is this? If when my partner comes or my boss comes, I have to change my how I act and behave. Why do I need to put on a mask when I'm around you and then take it off when you're gone? So should this at minimum say something to you about the nature of the relationship? So at minimum, I guess I'm just kind of stating here that what to do if you're being gaslighted. Well, also how I'm hoping that you all equally recognize the nature of the relationship.
Right.
That's what I'm saying too. That, am I being true to myself? Am I being true to my feelings? Am I even being true to the relationship? So the fact that I have to, what's the word you use? Apply strategies to shift your moods. The fact that I have to do that when you are around, then that should at minimum say something to you in relation to the nature of the relationship, and then even question if it is healthy for you to stay in it, because sometimes you can find yourself in an abusive relationship and start to say, is it healthy for me to stay in this relationship, and what is it doing to me? The fact that as soon as the person come, they have to go pack up the cards. Me don't want anybody. Me don't want him to say we play cards. I don't know, or her. Me don't want her to say, we don't have fun, or we laugh too much. I mean, what does it say about the nature of the relationship? And are you satisfied with that? I guess that's the question.
Yeah, powerful. Yeah. So that's where we want to go. And so the six is go back to the mind games, the imaginary situation, because people do find very painful to leave. But one of the things that we need to start to look at then is to compare, as you're saying now, compare. Do I really want to live in this toxic environment? Yeah. Do I really want to stay here, or so on? It's sometimes difficult because remember, depending on the pedestal, the height of the pedestal that you have put this individual, it might take you a long time before you start to recognize that it is toxic. Just bear that in mind, because you lie or you excuse for a long, long time before finally something happens and the penny drops and you say to yourself, really, I might need to recalibrate or review how I see this person. And okay. And by the way, you see the numbers, it's not just relation, best friend, your mother, sister, brother, all sorts of persons can, in fact, have you in those kinds of toxic situations. All right. Another one is to talk to your friends. Try to see if you can find some friends we can talk to. And see what they're thinking about you. Maybe you need to be bold enough to actually ask, by the way, you see a change in my behavior? Yeah. And some of the things that you are gaslighted about, have you found this about me? And ask them, no, and we're not talking to you now in a way that I just want you to say, no, man, it's not so. No, talk to me if it is really so. I want to know. Yeah. So see if you can find some friends who don't have itching ears, who can actually want to tell you what it is that you need to hear. All right, let's move. Go. All right, coming to a close here. All right, this is a little tricky one. Most of us, I would think at some point in time, would prefer to be right than to be wrong. And sometimes when we get into discussions or something happened to us, we go away trying to rephrase or to recapture the situation in a way that makes us right. So if it's that discussion, we want to come out right. If it ends and we haven't done that, we're going to go away and try to find some way that we can come out right. Yes. I think that's a problem generally. In the situation that we're talking about, I think it's more important for you to leave the conversation feeling good, feeling emotionally whole, as against whether you were right or wrong, or that is how it ended up. So let us say that I'm being gaslighted, and the person is saying, "Well, you know that you can't handle money, etc." And let us say they ask me a question about like how much are you spending on XYZ phone bills per month, and I don't know. See, really, something like that. You need to know, man. You need to know. Okay, so I might get caught up into whether they're right or wrong, or whether that is information that I need to know. That's a distraction. What I need to do is to be able to leave that discussion with a feeling that, fine. I mean, I don't know how much I spend on phone, but I'm all right. I'm okay. I feel good about myself. I'm not going to beat up myself because I don't know what it is. It's insignificant. It's not life or death for me. That's more important than to go and prove that you're right. Maybe the example I'm using is not the best one, but just understand that sometimes you can focus on being right and winning the argument, or making sure that what you are saying is so, and that ties you up. Focus more on where are you. So even if the situation turns out that, yeah, okay, fine, that might be true, you need to come away feeling good still, feeling whole, not feeling diminished, not feeling that you are inadequate. That's important. So some of those discussions, especially in a gaslighting situation, where you're going to have the recurring things over and over that tries to prove that you are less than you are, you can go through them if you want, or you can shut them off, but at the end of the day, you're not internalizing it. You actually are making sure that you leave feeling good about who you are. That's important, because that is part of the way that you can keep your sanity and your self-esteem. All right, I'm going to come to the chat in a little while. Let me just finish these two, and then I'm going to invite your comments. As I see a chat there, I'm going to get it to you in a minute. All right. The other big one is that you can't control anyone's opinion. Yeah. So even if you are right, you know for a fact that this is the case, and you try your best to put forward your arguments, but they can decide. Yeah, I can decide that masks are helpful. Somebody else can say masks going to kill you. So get to a place where we understand that that's the case. And if you have a partner, you have a boss, whatever it is, we see where the money is being wasted because the way that you're doing it. Tyler tell me supervisor, okay. At the end of the day, you cannot force them to accept it. What you need to do is to control what you can control, which is you, your well-being, and your mindset, and all of those kind of things. Your mental health is important. So don't stress yourself over the fact that the company wasting the money and you have told them how many times to do it this way, or somebody